30 minutes. So
go, Bix, go. Folks, it's Bix Weir.
That's all I get. That's the extent of your introduction.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Folks, we have none other than the master of monetary mayhem, the czar of cryptos, the baron of Bitcoin, the sultan of silver, the one and only Gandalf of gold, the man who is the pathfinder on the road to Ruda, the one who wears his heart on his sleeve and spaghetti sauce stains on his tie. The men hate him, and the men love him, and the women want to be with him. It's the one and only Bix Weir. The men love him. I don't know. It's kind of.
I look forward to that introduction every week because
I'm sorry, man.
The rest of the week, all I do is get shit in the chat room. So thank you, V.
I love you.
Such a sensitive guy that I am.
Nothing.
It's crazy.
So what are you guys talking about?
We just got on, and I want to talk about the crypto pullback is good. Everybody needs to remember.
Yes.
We don't want things to go crazy because it'll happen the same way it did, November to December, the 300% rise and then the crash. Crash is more painful than the rise.
Right.
So we don't want those big crashes. We want slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So go ahead, continue.
Most of the cryptos were up like over 50% over the last 7 days. And I'm like, wow, it was getting a little.
EOS was on a tear, man. You saw EOS?
I did. I actually do not own it anymore. The reason I don't is I'm not saying it's not going to go up. It probably will go up like a crazy madman. I just think it is an untested technology that everybody and their mother is betting on working without any glitches at all.
What is it anyway? What is EOS? I have no
idea. It's like a takeover of Ethereum. You can spawn it.
Right.
Except it's fast. It's really fast. But nobody knows if it's fast because it's just a theory right now until they release it and it's up and working and is tested by all the hackers and frackers and crackers. It's nothing but an idea. So basically, it's an idea. But it's one of the most expensive cryptos out there. Yeah,
it was just tremendous, man. People were raking it in on the EOS run, but it's tremendous. It's like Wanchain, man. Wanchain is like the Ethereum killer. It's like it's Ether mixed with Monero, which I like Wanchain like that.
But is it tested? How long?
It is tested.
But what does that mean? How long has it been out there running smart contracts?
I don't know. I have to ask my fundamental analysis guy on that one.
But the reality,
I can't keep track of all the stuff, Bix.
I can't either. I kind of stopped a while ago.
I stopped too. I just go by what my traders and stuff say. So I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, all right, cool, that's fine. I just don't have the time. It's impossible.
I know it is, and for me, who's a hodler, I pretty much made my bet based on what these companies are going to do, and these cryptos are going to do based on certain things happening, and they're all going to happen in the future. So I'm not going to get rid of any of them to buy a hope and a dream that I haven't even studied.
Speaking of that, what's your take on this whole entire My Ether wallet hack?
It is a great reminder that if you don't hold your cryptos in your own possession, you don't own any cryptos.
Yep.
And I think the hack was not actually, it was a server hack, which is even harder and scarier, which makes me think that it was done by one of the core programmers because they hate Ethereum and all the altcoins. They absolutely hate anything that is up in competition with Bitcoin. And these guys are great hackers. So, yeah, as long as you keep your private key in your own possession and nobody can get to it, you're fine. You don't have to worry about stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, but I heard it's being fixed or has been fixed. And what it did, basically, it rerouted you. You thought you were logging into the MyEther wallet server, but it rerouted you somewhere in the mix, and you ended up when you started, putting your all your information in to get access to your coins. It ended up you're on a different server, and they just sucked all the coins out of your account. So yeah, it sucks, but it's also another reminder of everything has to be done very carefully. Never make any big moves. Don't keep everything in one wallet. All that kind of stuff.
preparing for bank failures. Mm-hmm. What's going on?
Well, we had two banks in Europe. One was in Ireland and one was in the UK. Ulster Bank and TSB Bank, who mysteriously were unable to give anybody any money. With the Ulster, it was the last couple of days. With TSB, it's been since Sunday. People don't have access to your bank account. What is happening? And this stuff only happens when the banks are wobbling and teetering, which I believe they are right now. So it's one of those things. You go out to dinner, you got your debit card, and you put it down for the $500 dinner that you just bought everybody a great dinner because you made a bunch of money in cryptos, and voila, the bank is not accepting any of their cards because they don't have any cash. And it gets to the point, it's like, okay, what is it going on at the banks? They do a lot of overnight repos. Did they need the money for like an extra 3 days? Because nobody really knows. And that's kind of where we're headed, to a point where the banks fail in their third-party duties. Deutsche Bank, our friends with the largest derivative book in the world, who just fired their CEO and are in the middle of a kind of a dramatic rejiggering of another plan to get them out of the mess they're in, has earnings call tomorrow, and yeah. I mean, the bigger thing obviously is S&P has put them on negative watch, and by the end of May, they said they're going to announce what their decision is. You don't put a company like Deutsche Bank on negative watch unless you're sure that you're going to downgrade them. And so, they'll be downgraded in May no matter what they say tomorrow in their earnings call. That's my take, at least. So you got to get your cash out. Like, also, Wells Fargo is
Wells Fargo.
They're starting to put up real kind of draconian restrictions on using cash with their bank, including deposits and what you can withdraw. I'm like, holy shit! Obviously the banks don't want any cash out there at all, because that is the it is the anti negative interest rate thing. As soon as you get anti negative interest rates, you want your money out of that bank, because you're going to lose money if you keep it in there. I mean, not counting inflation. If you think about it, you shouldn't have money in the bank anyway with the inflation that they lie about. So all the banks are wobbling again. If Deutsche Bank does get downgraded, it would probably trigger a bunch of derivatives, and that normally wouldn't be all that bad, but because other banks are teetering, it could trigger the weapon of mass financial destruction. Although I think it's a little early. I think a derivative on Deutsche Bank would implode probably and be settled a month later, so that would put us in early July maybe. I think the banks have a couple more months to last till I think they're going to really start to wobble September, October. And we're going to have the same thing as we had in 2008.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of those things, the tie-in between Deutsche and Santander and Commerce with Royal Bank of Scotland and Standard Chartered. It is a tie-in, man. It's going to be a daisy chain of failures when that happens. The blowback being U.S. Treasury bonds, because these suckers are also filled to the hilt on USTs, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the Deutsche Bank derivative books, I mean, 60 quadrillion? How much is it?
They paid that down, Bix. It's 52 trillion now.
Okay, 52 trillion. It's one of those things. How much a bank with a market cap of around $30 billion, how in the hell can they have $52 trillion worth of side bets? And who's at the other end of that? Who has 52 trillion of counterparty assets to take care of those side bets? Even if they want them all, it would take the system down. So yes, many of them are offsetting. An offsetting derivative is great as long as the other person is still a viable entity. When Deutsche Bank is the counterparty to 52 trillion in derivatives, and that specific bank is about to be downgraded and just fired their CEO and is not looking good for the future, the system's in a little issue, a little problems going on.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Here's the juicy. The DNC lawsuit. Roger Stone, Kushner, Trump Jr., WikiLeaks, Lucifer 2.0. A lot of stuff to dissect, my man. Go for it.
Well, my take is either the DNC is really, really stupid because this would open them up to discovery of everything from the Russian dossier to the DNC servers to the Seth Rich murder. It all comes down to this concept that they own and control the judges. If they can get the right judge appointed who is in with the DNC and the deep state, the judge would just say, no, you can't have any discovery on the DNC servers, the Russian dossier, the hacks, the Seth Rich murder. No. We only allow evidence that would prove you guilty. we don't, which is crazy to think about, but that's what's going on in our justice system. There are judges that are absolutely on the take on the dole of the deep state. So yeah, it's going to be. Roger Stone is all excited. They're already filing discovery documents to get the servers and everything they need to crack this thing wide open. But I don't even think it's going to need that long.
Yeah,
because of the new release supposedly today. I don't know if it's out yet. Of the rest of the Page Strzok sexting each other about how they're going to overthrow the Trump administration. And you got to remember where these guys are. If you look at, I made a little list of kind of the ranking of these people who are trying to plot out the overthrow of a potentially, if Trump got nominated. So the conspiracy started long before the election, or probably during the election after Trump started won the preliminaries. But if you go down the list, it's Comey, who was director of the FBI, and the guy who worked for him, McCabe, deputy director, James Rybicki was Comey's chief of staff, James Baker, not the old James Baker, but the James Baker, the FBI general counsel, Loretta Lynch, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, all these people were involved. Bruce Orr, who was the deputy attorney general under Loretta Lynch. John Brennan, the CIA director, James Clapper, Samantha Power, Ben Rhodes, Jonathan Weiner, Rod Rosenstein, Sally Yates, Dana Boente, Cody Shearer, Sidney Blumenthal, Andrew Weissman, Jenny Rear. These are people who literally colluded together in a conspiracy to overthrow an elected president of the United States of America. That is treason punishable by death. Every single one of these people will be, if these texts, for example, come out and start naming things. Oh, I'm going to talk to Andy McCabe, and he'll talk to Sid Blumenthal, and he'll talk to Ben Rhodes, and he'll talk to John Brennan. I mean, they have all this information. All the emails that went back and forth with these criminals, they have it. The NSA collects everything. So it's one of those things. All you got to do is show the people and say, oh, my God, this is a conspiracy to overthrow the president of the United States. We have all the proof. Every single one of these people will be tried and found guilty of treason and will be executed, in my opinion.
I hope to God that is exactly what happens, man.
But here's the problem. You gotta do it outside of the justice system. You gotta do it outside of the courts because all the judges are bought and paid for. That's why they're expanding Guantanamo.
Yeah, I've heard about the whole entire military tribunals getting geared up and whatnot. I just wanted to happen. I mean, supposedly Q is saying QAnon, which I'm still back and forth. I believe QAnon is real. Yes, I believe QAnon is real. Do I think? I just want 100%. Like he's talking about this Moab, the mother of all bombshells, about to be dropped. I'm waiting for it, man.
Well, it's probably
this week, right?
Well, it could be today. It could be right now in these texts between Page and Strzok. I mean, they were plotting through text. I mean, I'm sure they exposed everybody in this. Or maybe even it's all the Clinton, it's the 650,000 documents on the Anthony Weiner laptop that we're not allowed to see.
Right.
And I heard they are leaking on the dark web, but I've heard descriptions of what it was, but which is just so horrifying. I don't even want to see it. But I mean, we're talking all the information, all the dirt on Clinton, all the dirt on the Bushes, all the dirt on everybody in that email thing. But if the worst person right now who's feeling most scared is Uma Abedin. Because it's her fault that she married Anthony Weiner and they use the iCloud for all those secret documents.
It's totally safe, man.
Insane. But, the funny thing is that even if the 650,000 documents weren't found on Weiner's laptop, the NSA has them all anyway.
Yeah.
They have everything. They got all your emails. They got all my emails. They got all our phone conversations. They have everything. So, it's kind of silly to say, oh, my God, we found these texts. Well, the NSA has them all anyway.
They even have pictures of me without my monkey suit on.
Yeah, some of the weirdest things is they like TVs that have a camera.
Yep.
That you think it's looking in at you, or it's actually it's recording everything, even when it's not on.
Yep.
They have anything they want, and it's the question of will they use it? So yeah, I think if we get more texts from Lisa Page and Strzok, that conspiracy is a big one, but it's not the biggest. That would go to the FBI and the Justice Department and Attorney General, and that goes right to Obama and the Senior Executive Service. You know what that is?
Senior Executive Service. No, explain that.
That is it's basically the paid shadow government. People from around the country and around the world are hired by the U.S. government, and it's like the head of Google and the head of Amazon and those guys. Obama, there's 8,200 of them. Obama placed 7,000 of them. They call it the Obama Army. And if I was part of the good guys looking to take out the bad guys, I'd go right down that senior executive list one by one and see what kind of dirt you have on them.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. It's like the time when, what's his name, Tillerson whacked the entire 7th floor of the Hillary State Department, all of whom were a bunch of deep state actors.
Yeah, and they were all probably part of the senior executive service. But this includes, private citizens. It includes the heads of military and those who tell the heads of military what to do. I mean, this is the deep state, and it's just so sickening that our country has had to go through this. Bravo to Trump for being the bull in the china shop to expose this stuff, but I think it has to happen faster. Yeah. I'm always faster. Like once you know about it, you want it over and done with. It's kind of like the monetary system. Once you know it is fraudulent and controlled by computers and derivatives at the highest levels, you want it over with. And the chaos that it causes to end this stuff, they've always said, "Oh no, it's too much. Society can't handle it." Well, then you end up with something like what has happened to the monetary system over the last 100 years. This perverted, disgusting thing that grew out of a concept that the people didn't have the power and the psyche to deal with a monetary glitch in 1913. I mean, this is what happens if you delay. So I'm a big proponent of pulling the Band-Aids on all this stuff.
Yes, I'm here at this point. At this point, yeah. Let's just get her over with, man.
But all the leaks are good that we get to just nibble at the edges because, that list I read you of Comey, McCabe, all this, most of those guys have been fired or are on their way out now. But that doesn't help the situation. Half the country doesn't have confidence in the president because half the country doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely right. Bix, man, I know you got to run. We're at the end of the broadcast, so why don't you give out your shout-outs and any sort of juicy tidbits or giveaways you're giving for members of the private road, folks. If you're not on the private road, you just don't know. You just don't know. You'll be on the outside looking in.
Just don't know how crazy I am.
If you want to get deep dive into the mind of the man they call the Bix, check it out, Bix. So just break it down, brother.
I'm doing so much YouTube now. YouTube is a great way to get the message out. I'm fully convinced.
Don't expect any monetization.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. There's not a lot of monetization out there. Yeah. But, I mean, if you do both, because I have a website also that I post a lot of information, private road stuff, research I'm working on. Just go to roadtoruta.com, check out the subscription page, and I do send out a silver Ruta coin, the coolest coin ever, and right now I'm giving out 10 Theta coins, and
nice.
I'm thinking Theta could be that sleeper. Everybody wants that one sleeper that's going to go crazy. I'm thinking it's Theta by the end of the year is going to go from, I think it's like, 15 cents now to untold thousands. So we will see what happens.
Oh man, that's exciting. Definitely exciting.
But it is a waiting game in the cryptos. I just want everybody to know that. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't get excited if things go up 100%, because it could be another operation. The latest I called Operation Crypto Crush. And I put out a video explaining every move from mid-November, jacking it up 300%, and then the slam down, how it was done, who did it, back to $6,000. So check that out at the Road to Ruta YouTube channel.
Fantastic. And with that being said, he's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Bix Weir. Find him roadtoruta.com. And I'm the man, and I am the monkey maven, and CJ's on the flux capacitor, making sure this airway's coming out crispy and clean. We're over and out. Take it away, CJ.